colon 5000. Okay, so let's have that there. So I'm going to save this, and I'll come back to my auth slides and finish off these very registration slides. I think that's what is left now. Please let me know when we are together so that we can move forward. Once we are together, let me know so we can move forward.
Person because dispatcher are coming to say you want to give her. I don't know what they are looking for.
I don't understand. I'm mistaken your number.
Wait to ask them what is the name of the order.
Maybe you take the number now. Maybe you make mistake.
Maybe bring the food, maybe we'll chow. We go first down the food first before you go realize say no be here.
Before we go do verification.
I think I did hungry. Don't go follow me play. I will not chop the food finish before I just say look at my food.
We tell her say we been order yesterday, but they no bring her.
Cancel am.
So it is you na you come bring.
Yeah, what? Hello, can you hear me? What no?
Somebody wanted to say something. Can we move on?
I'll text it to you. I'll send you a text message.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe like we can go order the food. That's it.
Sure, this is,
I'll let me feel open. I'll let me open again. But you say something now. But if you want to see profile, I'm not going to go down. I'm okay. I'm after that one. So I just press it there and I'll do it 1 year. Well, they give us coding tasks here. They do coding tasks. They mostly ask questions. So the normal API build, so I build the API. Yeah. So they don't ask questions. So I'll answer their question. So I hope that.
okay, can we move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's get to our auth slides and get to these very extra reducers so that we can add in the reducers from the call that we just made to take care of these very states, whether it's successful or the rest. So all those are going to be taken care of inside this extra reducer that is taking in builder as an argument. Okay, so we are going to be using this very builder. I'll be adding some cases to this builder. So let me come down one since there are many of them so that we can capture all of them. So we're going to have add case of register pending. That is when when the state is still loading. Then we're also going to have fulfilled, register fulfilled when there is success in the registration. And we're also going to have register rejected. So those are the cases that we're going to be having. So let's have first of all dot add case. So the first case we are having is register pending. So that's the first case. So I'm going to just have this add case. Then I'm going to have another add case. Then I'm going to have another add case. So these various cases are for the various situations that we could have, and Redux toolkit already will manage this by itself for us. So if it is in a case where there is pending, it will be on this pending. If it is a case where the race case, then if it is rejected, it will also be on the case of rejected. So let's develop this out. So this add case will take in two arguments. So one is going to be the case. So in this case, we are going to be have before the data is fetched, it's always pending. So we're going to say register dot pending. So that's the first case. So if it is register dot pending, what are we supposed to have? We are supposed to have a state which is going to happen and the condition of the state is going to be is loading. So in this case, we are going to be setting is loading to true. So that is the first case. That is the first case. So this is when you make the API call, but the data is not yet fetched. So that is the is loading, and the name of this case is actually register.pending. Now in another case where you already have the data fetched, so what it will be the name of that case? We are going to have register dot fulfilled. So in this case, we're going to be having the state and action. So the action is going to be the payload, which is actually the user data that is being passed. Okay. So in this very instance, you're going to set is loading back to false because now you already have your data. So the is loading is not supposed to be true again. So you set the is loading back to false. Then we'll now set the is success state to true. And also set the user to the payload, which is the user data that you filled in. Okay, so that's what we're supposed to have. So let's have that. Then finally, for the last case, we are going to have register rejected. So let's say you have an error, you have a major issue. So you have register dot rejected, and in this case, we are going to be having the state and action. And for these, we are going to be setting the is loading to false. And we're going to be setting is error to true, because you reject because there's an error. Then we'll set the is message to what the thunk API that we use to take the message initially, what it's giving us, the error message that is giving us. So state.message should be that payload. And finally, we set the user to null. So finally, we'll now say state.user, and we set it to null. Okay, that's what we're supposed to have. So let me make sure. I think one of these, this should be curly bracket. Oh, why is this one still giving error?
It's not a curly brace, it's a bracket you used
For which
for
one?
the register. Yeah, that one.
Okay, I think that's where the error is from. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. So once we are done doing this for register, doing it for login is similar thing. We just copy this and paste, so it makes the work easier. But like Redux toolkit, that's how you have to do it. Consistency in it will make it much more commonplace to us. So don't worry about the whole thing. Okay, so that is it for the register builder. So all this will take care of the state and set it up the way it should be. So I think with that we are done with the register feature. Let's work on the login feature and log out so that we can test this out once and for all. So please let me know when you're done. I wanted us to have a break and come back, but I don't think we need a break in this type of thing. We need to just set it out up to testing, then we can now have a break. Please let me know once you're here so that we'll quickly scaffold the login. I'll be good.
I'm there, sir.
Okay. Any other person here? Okay,
I guess so.
nice one. Nice one. So quickly, let's put in some comments to make these readable. So I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna call these register new user. Register new user, because I want to be able to copy then this code and use it to produce my login without much stress. So that's why I'm using this comment. So what this does is to this very code, what it does is to simply get user from local storage and set it in state. Perfect. That's what it does. And you know, when we did that Axios call in our when we made this Axios call in auth service, you see that immediately we got the data, we set it to local storage. You see, so that means that that user is in local storage. So that's why inside this auth slice, we try to get it from local storage and use it as the initial state. So that's the essence of that. Okay. So now that we are done with this, we are supposed to do the login. This is the register. So the simple thing we are going to do now is to just copy this register new user and come down here and paste it over here. So instead of register new user, we're going to be saying login a user. Okay, so this is supposed to be export const instead of register. We are going to find out that even when we are doing other things, it becomes easy because we've already laid this out. So what's the name of these async function? The name is going to be login. Okay, so it's still going to take in user and the Thunk API, so nothing much to change there. But it's going to return await auth service dot login, which we are going to create. So we're still going to go into the auth service and create the login service there. It's going to take in user as well. Catch error. The messages will be error.message, error.message.data, error.response.data.message, or error.message stringified and rejected with value using Thunk API. Okay, so that's pretty what we're going to be doing, and I think this is perfect. That's the login reducer there. Then lastly, we are going to try to log out as well. So let's try to log out so that we know that we're good to go. So I'm going to simply copy, did I copy this here? Though it's not going to have as much as this. I'm going to copy this, come down here, paste it over, and I'm going to call this logout a user, logout a user, and I'm going to call these logout, and I'm going to call these logout. Okay. It's gonna await auth service of logouts. So with that, I think we are good to go. So for logging out, we are not gonna be having all these error messages and blah blah blah. We're not gonna be having them. So I'm gonna simply take out all these people.
Um, what is
Okay. and this is an async function. We're gonna take out this try and take out all these stuff, because you're not, when you log out, you're not passing in any payload of user data, you're just logging out. Okay, so let's have that. So it's gonna simply call the auth service of logout. Okay, so let's have this. I think we can put this in one line. If I save, will it format? Okay, let me save first and see whether it formats.
Send me the address for it. That's up.
Okay, so it's on one line now. I think it's okay. No need to put this return. So let's have the logout to user exactly like this. Please make sure you're not passing any argument into that. So that is our logout reducer. That is our logout reducer. Let's get that out so we can move forward. Okay, so I think it's about time we go create the remaining services. Okay, so please, I want to move into the services file. Should I do that? Are you done with this?
I'm not yet done. Please, no, sir.
Can I do what? Somebody wants to ask me to do something. Is this scroll? But I believe the recent things we did are captured in the screen we are having now. So this is log in a user and log out a user. Those are the two things we did now. So let's have that.
We're not getting the application table for them now. Let's just do the certification table first. Verification here, yes. No, we're not doing everything once. We're not doing everything once.
Okay, do we move forward? Okay. So okay, so let's try to go build out the auth service for the login action and logout action. Those two actions, let's try to do that, and like we know, it becomes easier this time around. So we are basically going to be having something like we have for these register. So I'm going to simply come up here and say register new user. So that is what we'll have here. So I'm going to simply copy this, then I come down here and paste it over and replaced it with login a user. So that is for login. So I'm going to simply change the name of this action to login. Okay, so it's still going to make the same Axios post call, but the only difference is that it's going to make this call to it's not just APIs slash users. So it's going to make it to API slash users slash login. So in order for you to have that added up here, you're going to use the concatenation operator, which is a plus, to bring in the string you want, and the string I want in this case is login. Okay, so that this is now, this API URL is simply now API slash user slash login. So that's just the difference. It's still gonna take in the user data that the client fills in the form. So it's still gonna be pretty much the same thing. Then we are also gonna check if there is a success in the response. If there is a response data that is returned, we want to simply set it to local storage using the function local storage dot set item. So we want to stringify it and set it to the local storage and call it user, so that once we get to the auth slice, we can easily we can get it back from local storage and use it as the state there. Okay, so they are pretty much the same thing. So get that done, so that we'll now do the last one, which is the logout. And we know in logging out, what we do is simply to destroy the data that is inside the local storage. That's the simple action we're going to be doing here. So on the logout, we're going to be calling these logouts, and we're going to be saying async. It's not even necessary to be an async now, because you're just seeing what you want in the local storage, so you're not making a backend call. So I'm gonna simply take out this. If you're logging out, you're not passing in any payload data. Take out this async, because I don't want to do no async. So I'm gonna take out all these API calls. I'm not making any API call. I'm not returning any data. So I'm simply gonna say local storage dot remove item. I want to remove anything that is in the local storage. Local storage slash remove item. So which item am I removing? Any user that is there. So I'm gonna leave that user, because I want to take it out, so that it knows the user to remove. Okay, so I think this is about it. Yeah, so these two functions we just created, we are going to come down here and be able to export them, so that they are used in the other side, that is in the auth slice. So I'm going to have logout and login. So for as many functions as you're creating, you have to do similar thing to all of them. Okay, so I think we are right about done with our auth service, and it's looking pretty good, pretty good. And the final things we are doing will be in taking care of the state and auth slides. So we'll get back to auth slides so that we can finish it up. So this is the auth slides. We're almost done. Let me even open up this. Okay, you see we are not actually having any errors. So I needed to open this to make sure that we are not having errors. So that means our code is running at optimal level, optimal level. Cool. Okay. So just a few things we need to do here in the auth slides. Just a few, just to add in the login cases and do our logout. That's just what we need to do, and we're done. So we're almost done. So I'm going to go to these add cases. We have how many cases here? We have 3 cases for the register. So in that safe way, we're going to be having 3 cases for login. So I'm going to simply copy this and paste it down here for the login. Then we'll have one final case for the logout. So I'm also going to copy this last one here and put it down here for logout. Okay, so with that, I think we are good to go. I don't know why I'm getting error, maybe, but I have to just sort it out first and see. At line 74, semicolon at line 74. See my smart students, smart, my smart guys, seeing everything. 88 or 90? 88, okay, nice one. I love you guys. You guys are seeing things. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get to we have these 3 as we did before, so we're supposed to start from here for the login. So login could also be pending. So in that case, I'm simply going to change this very register to login. So when we have login.pending, the state is going to be set as is loading. That means you filled in your login details and you clicked on login and you're waiting for the data to be returned from database in order to check whether you're a registered user. So in that case, it's still going to be pending, and in such a case, it's going to set the is loading state to true. Okay, so that is cool. Then we are going to have is fulfilled. That means you've logged in and it went well. So we're going to be having login.fulfilled. So in that case, it's going to take the state and the action with the payload, which is the data. And now set is loading to false because it's no longer loading. It has actually fetched the data. And set is error to false as well. No need. So set is success to true. Okay, so we have is loading for success true, then the user becomes the payload. It will put what the user is there to the state. So this is perfect. I don't think there's any issue here. Then finally rejected. Finally rejected So for rejected case, it's gonna take the state and now set the state to false because it's no longer fetching. It has actually fetched, but it has seen an error. So the state of the error is going to be true. Then the message is going to take the payload of the error messages. Then it's going to set the user to null. Okay, that is perfect. Then finally, the last case will be the case of register of logout. So let's have logout here. So for this very logout, you have rejected case. It's gonna take no logout is not rejected. So logout, you just once you click on it, the promise is just fulfilled. So logout is fulfilled. So if it is fulfilled, you just simply go out, not taking any payload. So no action. So it just sets the state, the user state to null. So I'm going to take out all this. Okay. So I think right about now we're cool. And we are ready to ride. We're ready to move forward. So check out your stuff and still run your server and see whether everything is still compiling and whether everything is still cool. If they're all cool, then let's try go fix up our front end to be able to test this out. I think that should be the next thing to do now. Let's go test it out. Let's go test it out and see what's popping. Okay. Okay. So please let me know when you're done. So we'll move to the next stage. This is why I wanted us to do this today because this is pretty technical. Okay. Are we cool? Do we move forward? Do we go on? Are we still typing out? Somebody wants to talk, but I can't hear you clearly. Like you mute and you've said some things already. Talele. Ilele. Talele. Ilele.
Who be this?
Talele. Ilele.
Tell me message, say you don't forget person. You remember me now.
Set up the proxy. Okay, so do we go on?
Let's do.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's keep moving. So yeah, so we're pretty much done. Just hang on, hang on, hang on. So what we're gonna do now is to make sure that our app can see the Toastify so that it can give us messages when we have error and be able to take care of those. So I'm simply gonna go to app.js and I want to bring in, you guys know we installed Toastify alongside. So I'm gonna quickly come in here and import this component from Toastify. We're gonna call it Toast Container. Wow. Ctrl Z, please. Tab. Toast Container from React Toastify. So we're gonna be using these to take care of this Toast Container to take care of our error messages. Okay. Then it's going to be formatted in some ways using CSS. So we are supposed to bring in the CSS, and we're going to be importing it from React Toastify / this / React Toastify.css. Okay, so bring in those two imports, and you'll be good. So once you bring it in, then come just right below the router. Make sure it's below the router, just right above the empty fragment, and bring in the toast container there. Save out your work, and that is it for this page. Okay, so now that we are done with all this,
Can I see where did we bring in the toast container?
okay, just down here, just below the router, above the empty fragments.
Please, let me see the import React Toastify, the next line after the toast container, please.
Okay, these are the imports. Are we there? Are we there? Are we there? Let's get to register.jsx so that we can bring in the states there. So let's get to register.jsx. We're almost ready to test. So just go from up. So now we're going to be bringing in use state and use effect, because we're going to be using them to do some work. So I'm going to click here. We don't really need React, but let's just leave it there since it's not giving us any issues. So let's have use state, comma, use effect, because we're going to be using this too to manage our state and take care of side effect actions. Okay, so let's have the two of them. Okay, I'm already having use state here and I'm having it here. Okay, so let me quickly just better still take these niggas out. Then I come here and put in my use effect. Okay, so I have those two. Now I told you guys that whenever you want to talk to your global store, you're supposed to use selector to get some state from your global store. And when you want to dispatch an action to the global store or the slice, you're going to use dispatch. So let's bring in both of those. So I'm going to say import. Now I say named export, like we all know. We're going to be importing use selector and use this patch. So let's get in the both of them from React Redux. Okay. Now we also want to be able to, once we log in, want to be navigated to the dashboard. So we're going to be using use navigate from React routed down. So let's get it in. So we're going to say import. I say named import. We are going to be using use navigate. So we're going to be getting it from React routed down. Okay. Now we're also going to be showing some error or success messages on these very register form. So we're going to be using Toast here. We already installed Toastify. So we're going to be importing Toast. We're going to be getting it from React Toastify. And we want to also use our FA user. Okay, we already have that. We're going to be importing the actions, the register action and the reset action. So let's bring them in. Import. Is that what I want? Looks like that's what I want. But let me still type it out. Register and reset. And we're bringing them in from, we know where we have them, dot slash, in order to get into the features folder, then the auth folder, then the actual file, auth slice. So let's get those things in. Then importantly, we are going to be having another component known as spinner. So I'm going to import it and then create it. So I'm going to say import spinner. This component will take care of when we are still fetching from database and the data is not yet displayed. So I'm going to be putting it inside the components folder. So let's have that. Maybe I should quickly create this spinner first before I continue working on this register. I don't know whether that's better. Okay. Cannot resolve spinner because we've not created spinner. So let me quickly create spinner. So let me come here and go to new file and call it spinner dot JSS. Okay, that already took care of the error. So I can simply do RA FCE tab and leave it there for now. Until I come back for it. Or better still, I should just give it something. Okay, let me just give it some. We already have some class for this spinner, so we're gonna use the class that we have for it in the CSS. So I'm gonna simply attach the class name of loading spinner container. So that's the class name I'll attach to that. Take out these, and inside it I'm gonna have another div of loading spinner. Okay, class name of loading spinner. So the spinner is inside the container. So I'm gonna close this out. Okay, so this is the spinner. It's a very simple component, majorly CSS work. So that I can get back to my register and finish it up. So okay, so let me open up this spinner so that you guys just finish it up so that we can go and fully develop our register dots. We're almost done. Once we work on our register and log in now, we should be good. We should be good. We are not adding much to our register because we already built out the form just to take care of state management. We are cool. We're cool. We're cool. Please, are we done on this? Can I move to the register?
Yeah, sorry, sir. I'm getting an error for that my toastify in the app.js. Can I just see how the CSS was imported?
Okay, got you. Got you. Got you.
Okay, capital T. Okay, okay. I understand. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
That's what it was.
Do we move forward? Anybody through?
It's fine now. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other person through?
Clipboard. You get my clipboard.
Okay. So can we move forward now?
Okay, I useless is so sharp. Already see blocks, crazy, thousands. You can go crazy anytime.
Are we done?
That time, you know, something was no book.
Please let me know if you're done so that we can move forward.
I'm done.
I don't know, but I just got an error telling me something on my app.js test. App.js. I didn't touch anything there.
Wow. Update test, there shouldn't be issues there.
I guess you can just close the file. It won't actually stop you to run your app.
Okay, any other further issues? Okay. So I believe we are good and
Yay!
somebody is now on mute. Okay, so brought in virtually everything we need for these. So since we are going to be using the use navigate and use dispatch and use selector, it will be good we declare them. So please let's come right under these and let's have our const navigate and set it to use navigate. Then something for use dispatch and set it to use dispatch. Then finally we want to get the states from the use selector. So we want to be able to get all the states. So we simply say const. We're going to destructure the object that we're going to be getting. And what do we want? We want the user from there. So all those states that we had earlier described in our auth slice. So we have user, we have is loading. Want to get it because with it it's going to affect what we are rendering. So we're going to have is error. We're going to have is success. We're going to have message. So all these we are going to be getting from the use selector. I'll be getting them from the state that is inside the auth. Okay, so let's have that. So I can actually break this into another line and put this inside brackets so that it will make sense more. So let's have this. So this place is giving us warning that we are not using use selector. So by now these three should have gone. The use selector and the rest, so that it will be remaining some here. Okay, now assign but not used. Okay, so let's do that. Now with these states established, we want to be able to use effect to check once we load in this register page. We want to be able unloading of this register page. We want to be able to know whether the state then is error or success. So we can do that using our use effect. So we simply say use effect. Okay, so we know that our use effect takes in two things: the callback function and the dependency array. So let's get down. So the callback function and the dependency array. So this use effect is going to be dependent on one, whether we have a user, whether we have is error, whether we have is success, whether we have a message, whether we are navigating to any page, or whether we are dispatching an action. So those are going to be the dependency arrays. So what are we checking inside our use effect? We are going to first of all check if is error if we check and we find error, we're going to be using our toast to display the error message. That's what we'll do. Okay. And if that is not the case, if we have is success, we want to simply navigate. So once the login is successful, we are navigating to the dashboard, which is slash. I want immediately after all these are done, just dispatch the action of reset everything. Once you're done logging in, reset everything so that those is success, everything will return to that very initial state. So I'm going to say, once all these are done, we want to dispatch an action, and the action we want to dispatch is reset. Okay, so with this we are good to go. Okay, so we pretty have only 3 things to take care of: register, spinner, and it's loading. Okay, that we are not used. Okay, so that is what we should have there. So the unchanged remains the same. Then the unsubmit, we want to be able to dispatch the register action once submission is possible. So inside here, we're going to do a little check. We're going to check if the password that the user is putting if the confirm password and the normal password are the same, if both of them are the same, if they are equal, then if they are not equal, I want to use those to say password do not match. So if they are not equal, I want to be able to use this toastify and say toast.error and simply say password do not match. Else, if the password is matching, I want to get in the user data. I want to get in the user data. So I'm going to say const user data, and I'm going to be giving it the object of, we know the data we are expecting: name, email, and password. So I want to get in all this data and use them as a payload to do my registration. So once I get in this data, we should now be able to dispatch another action of register, passing in the user data so that it will take it to that state once we click on submit. Okay, so right about now we should be registering. Okay, so just before our return, in a situation where the loading state is loading, if it's loading, I want it to return the spinner. We've already built the spinner. So I'm going to say Control S to save. Then we shouldn't be having any errors again at this point in time because we've taken care of everything that we imported. Okay, so let's do this, and we are going to be having pretty much the same thing with the login. So let's finish it up and go to login and do similar thing. Do I need to scroll? Where are you guys? Where are you typing? Which screen are you on? Sorry, I didn't get you. Hmm? I think you're far from your mouthpiece. Oh, use effect. Okay, so are we there? Okay, so can we move forward? Let me know. Are we still typing or getting errors? Let's know so that we know the way to move. Okay, so are we done now? Are we done so that we know whether we're moving forward? Are we having any issues? Hello? Can we still hear me? Please let me know if you're done so that I know what I'm doing. Are we there? Oh. I'm not even wearing my. Yeah, sorry, I was not wearing my earpiece. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't wearing my earpiece.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's continue now. Um, we just have just a few things to do and we are done. So let's quickly get to our header.js. Let's get to our header.js and be able to take care of the routing for this. Or better still, do we do login first? Okay, get to the header.js. Let's take care of logout there so that when we are testing out, it will be a one good thing. So inside this header.js, first of all, we want to import sign in, then we want to now bring in sign out, FA sign out. So let's bring in FA sign out alt so that we can use it to take care of the sign out. FA sign out alt. So we're going to use that icon for the sign out button. For the sign out, yeah, icon. So let's also bring in, together with the link, let's bring in use navigate so that we can be able to navigate. Now, want this header to be able to notice the state, the current state. So we're going to be importing. We already know what we use in talking to the current state, whether we are dispersing an action or looking at the state. If we want to get the state, we use selector. If we want to disperse an action, we use dispatch. Then finally, we are going to be importing some actions. So the actions we are interested in are the logout and the reset. So those are the two actions we are expecting from this, and we're going to be getting them from features auth slice. So I think that is very okay. So those are the things we need. Then right under this function header, we want to be able to use the const navigate, and we're getting it from use navigate, and also const dispatch, and we're getting it from use dispatch. And finally, to use the we're going to be having const, we're only looking for user here. Okay, I'll be getting this user from the state, which is exposed by the use selector from the auth slice. Okay, so that's what we will have. Can also enclose this in this if I want. It's not necessary. Okay, so once we have this, we can simply create our logout function, because this is, we want the logout to be in this header. So I'm going to say const on logout. I think this is okay. So what do I want to be done on logout? On logout, I simply want to dispatch logout. So I'll dispatch logout action, and as well as reset everything. So I'm going to dispatch reset as well. And once I'm done resetting, I'm going to navigate back to the home page. So those are the three things I want to do. Once you click on logout, then I'm gonna close this up and Ctrl S to save this file. So now I want to be able to see the logout only when I'm logged in. So I should be able to see the logout button only when I'm logged in. So I'm going to do a conditional rendering so that I can, only when there is a user, that's when I can see the logout. So once I click logout and I'm logged out, I'm no longer logged in, I should not be able to see the logout button. So in order for me to do this, I need to use the state from the user, which I already got from here, this very user state here from the use selector, talking to the global state. So I'm going to come just below this UL, then I'll put my curly brackets, and I should be able to say if user do something. Okay, so if user do something, if not, do another thing. Okay, so if user, show me some things, if not, show me another thing. So what will I see if there is user? So if there is user, I want to see the logout button. So how do I see that? I can use the li to see that. So I can simply copy this the way it is here, copy and put it inside here. So I'm going to be using this as the logout, but this time around I don't want to use a link, I simply want to use a button. So I'm going to say button. So this button is going to have a class name that is already described in our CSS, and the class name is simply btn. Okay, so it's not going to be having on, it's simply going to be having, no, instead of to, it's going to be having on click. And once you click, I want the function on logout that we created to be called. So I'm going to have here on logouts. Okay, so that is what I want there. So, and the icon I want to be shown is FA sign out alt. So here I'm supposed to have logouts. So make sure that this is a button. Okay, so that is what I will show if I'm logged in. Okay, so if I'm not logged in, I should be able to see the login and register components. So I'm gonna just pick the two of them up. So you see the two of them here. I'm gonna pick the both of them. I'm gonna say Control X to cut them out, and I'm gonna come in here and put them. But because there are two, I'm gonna wrap them up in an empty fragment so that there will be no issues. Then I'll paste them in here. Yeah. So sign in an FA user. So I think we are good to go now. So that's just what I need to do there. Just that. Okay, so I can now Control S to save. See whether it will do small formatting for me. No formatting. Wow. Okay, so let's have that. This one will be a little bit tricky. So I think it will be good I supply you guys the code for this. Because what I just did now, I don't know whether it's clear. The way I maneuvered it, I don't believe it's difficult, but let me send you guys the code. Okay, so where to be careful is actually where we are doing the conditional rendering based on whether we have a user. So if you're having a user, we should just render the logout button. That means you're logged in. Then if you're not logged in, you should be showing the login and register button. So I think those are the only places we have some smart actions being taken. Okay, so once we are done with this, we'll now get to the last page before we test out, which is the login. So please, can I go to the login? I'm already tired. I'm tired. I want to. Can you see my auth service file? This is auth service.
To the import part.
To the import, we just importing only Axios. Only Axios, okay?
Yes, sir.
So finally, I'm gonna go to the login.jsx, and in the imports we are supposed to have virtually everything that we have in the register. So I don't know whether I should just go copy it down and put the same thing over here. That should be a better thing to do. So I'm gonna go to register. I'm gonna pick up everything that is up here. I get to my login. So I think the only difference is here, sign out, Abi. So I'm gonna just take this up here and replace this. So I'm having sign out. Yeah. Thought so. User, I'm not having user. Okay, toast and the rest. Okay, so this is cool. So I'm gonna just take out this FA user, or better still, I'm gonna cut this out and use it to replace this one. So I do Ctrl S to save. Okay, so that is what we should have. We're supposed to have all those because we are still going to be interacting with state and the rest. So once we do that, the next thing will be to have our login function. We have the use state, taking the email and password. We've done that. Then form data. We've done that. Okay, so we have to use navigate. So I'm simply going to call here, pick up these use navigate and use dispatch, and also user, because I need all of them. So I pick them up, get back to my login and put it just below this data. You guys already know why we're using them, because we are going to be navigating, we're going to be dispatching some action to the global store, and we're going to be using these various states from global store. So we're using use selector to fetch all these states so that we know what's up.
Please, can you go back and see? Let's see where you copy from.
Okay.
Control Z and copy again.
Okay, Ctrl Z is out. So I get back to my register. This is what I picked. Just the navigate, dispatch, and the user from the selector. Then I came in here, right under here. I put it there. So it's similar to what it is on the other side, the same position. So I'm having user state is loading, is error, is success, and is message. Okay. So the same thing, I'm gonna go there, go fetch my user effect, because it's gonna be practically the same thing. Practically the same thing, okay? So I'm gonna go back here, look at my user effects, and I'm gonna go through, pick it up, because it's also gonna be checking for the states on loading to see whether I'm logged in or I need to freshly log in. So I have that there. So in this case, I also want to add to this is success to take care of if I just registered and I got logged in automatically. So that means if I already have user logged in, maybe via registration, so I should also be navigated to the protected route, which is the home page. So let's get that also in. I've also already explained this. If there's error, it should show message success, navigate to the home page, then dispatch, reset. Okay, so the only difference here will be at our on submit, we are supposed to, okay, it's practically the same thing. Practically the same thing. So on submit, we are supposed to get the user data, and to get it, we simply say const user data equal to an object of, we are using only email, and password. Those are the user data that we want. So once we get them into this variable called username, we're going to now dispatch an action, and the action we're dispatching is a login action. so that it will use that and do the necessary comparison to see whether we have such a user. Okay, so I think we're good. Login. And if this is not the case, if you try to fetch and you've not returned the data yet, then we're going to have the is loading state, in which case we want to display the spinner. So this is similar to what we have on the register form. I don't think there are much differences. So with that, we come to the end of this long class.
Sir, I think you have to line 6. I think you have to import login and reset instead of register and reset from the login.js.
Yeah. That's where the error is from. So I'll save. Okay, so I think we're good to go. So we can test out our application now and see whether we have errors. So if we have any error, I'm actually tired. We'll take care of the error in the next class. So
Sir, please go back to your submit.
to my unsubmit. Okay, this is unsubmit. Okay, so I will send in the video, follow through gradually. Don't try to memorize anything, but understand the way the flow went, the things that were done first before the others, and the reasons why those were done. Login.jsx. Is it working? Wow. Bravo for everybody. We've tried. Okay. So let me quickly check it out. So I have login and I have registration. So if we register somebody, Augustine Emeka, with email, which email am I going to use now? I've used most of my emails. What email should I use? Somebody should give me email to use. Testing. James. He said what? Jane what?
Jane Chidera 12. Chidera 12.
Chidera 12 at
gmail.com.
gmail.com. So I'm going to use a simple password 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm going to confirm it 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we'll submit. It's giving me error. Status goes 4000. So what could be my error? Let me check. Let's check our console. Server responded with status 400. Not found. Let me check our. Oh. I hope it's saved completely. Okay. And I think when I added the proxy, I've not rerun this since then. So I will try to let it save, then I'll rerun and test out again. So any other person had a success apart from Favor? Is there any other success?
So I did.
Okay, you too. Is it Ayola?
No, sir. No, I'm having the same error as well.
Ask me, ba? Okay. No wahala. Let's
Yes, sir.
let's reload everything and see. Okay. So let me do Control C to get out of this, and let me also close this out so that every changes that we made on, I hope I saved everything. So let me now run dev. So Fumilola, you can try the same thing.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'm sharing the same error.
Okay. I hope your backend is started. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so please everybody get to Slack and answer present there.
Okay, sir, please, can I see your store, this thing, the store.js file, please?
Okay. Store.
Yeah, I think the code is fine. It's just that when we actually saved, the server actually gone down. So maybe when we restart it will work.
Okay. So everybody, you can restart and check it out. So let's go pick our attendance on the attendance sheet. So I'll let you guys know if we'll still have another class today. Or do you want to rest out the rest
I'm
of
done, sir.
the...
Thank you.
Okay, you're done. Okay. So what's up? What's up, guys? Are we having another class today? Are there still free spaces in our head to take in more things? Something soft. Something yeah, something soft. To not be as huge as this. What we'll do later if we'll have the time. But I think we'll cover the lot today. We've done so much, so I will need you guys to study what we've done. Just study it, play the video over and over, get the steps, and try to note the way it went by.
James. The wedding planner. This is what you know. This is just the wedding planner. You get this wedding plan you for this. Yeah, we get the plan ready for me. You wait for the plan. Still do it. I need to be making coffee.
You know the plan. I know you want me to plan now. Now we for the team. Yeah, I will be. I never did see. That on team.
When I put here together, I plan now. Brother. You don't dey plan like this. My brother.
I'm going to me abi.
It goes beyond this thing. If you no plan, I mean you know what you dey do. You do every month. As salary dey enter like this, this is what you do.
Come watch mommy calm down. What you do again?
I watch that woman face. I be hungry.
I say don't go there before.
No, man, I go brush.
You go look from up now.
No, you go down.
No, I even need to see
Hello?
Somebody should mute.
What
Oh,
one starts?
Somebody should mute. I think it's me. Is it me?
favor.
Okay. So somebody wanna ask me a question. Yeah. Go on.
That one not cool. Carry my phone. Oh, yes, sir. Well,
No, if I
I let me do that our
okay. So you guys have not looked at hosting on the same like Heroku. You can host everything on the same place. So the way it's designed, you can host everything on Heroku, the same place. But you can also separate them and host.
give you awards.
Maybe do your front end in Netlify and the other one elsewhere. But this one we are going to host this on Heroku. So once we are getting there, we'll make our setups for it to be on production. So that's not going to be an issue. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yours is now working. Wow, incredible. So let me go. Should I still? Oh, you see, it's like this is already logged in. Okay, I think it's from the other one. So I'm gonna go Jen Chidera, enter email. Do I still remember this? Jen Chidera 12. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we'll log in. You see the spinner? Did you guys see the spinner? And it's now logged in.
Yes, sir.
And once you're logged in, that means the user state is logged in now. So there's a user, so you can only see login. If you click on log out, you see the rest. Okay, so let's try out log out and see whether login is working. So I'm gonna still use Chidera. So I'm gonna say Jen Chidera 12, and I'm gonna put in the password, which is 123456. And see whether this is working. Okay, this is also working perfectly. So we can see our app is working perfectly. And if you're able to follow to this time, you've done a great job. And like I said, don't try to go memorizing all these. Just learn the way it's worked.
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
My logout button is still working.
Okay. So would you want us to look at it? You want to share your screen or something? Or is it giving an error that you might want to talk about so that we know how to help you out?
Sir.
Or should I
Are you
open up?
looking for our logout?
No, no. We just created a function for log out. So we did it from the auth service. From the auth service, we have a service known as logout. So make sure you have these. Here we have local storage remove item user. So once you're having it here, make sure you export it here. Then get into the auth slides. Make sure you have a case where you have a logout fulfilled, where we have state.user to null. And
I didn't remove the assist.
okay, so it's now working.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, glad to hear that. So with that, we come to the end of this class.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, so I
Yeah.
noticed that on registration, you're also generating a token.
Yeah.
So I understand the part about creating a token during login. But during registration, what would be the purpose of generating a token during registration?
You generate a token when you're logging in, because when you're registration, because when you're registering, because you want to get registered and be authenticated immediately, which is the normal way. When you go to Facebook, immediately you're registering, you're authenticated. You understand? You don't need to register first and come back tomorrow and log in. So as you're so what enables that authentication is the token. So that's why you have token, in order for you to get authenticated. You understand? So when you get authenticated during registration, on a login, you still get authenticated. And what takes care of that authentication is the token. And that's why we have the token. Are we clear on that? Okay. Some people are laughing at my English here. My flows. My flows are tight. Yeah.
All right, so I have a question.
Yeah,
Can you
don't. You guys shouldn't mind me. Oh. I have a lot of boys here worrying my life. Don't mind me, okay? Yeah.
all right, so when we want to when we want to register, for example.
Not they compare again. Okay? You know what they pay am?
Hello.
Tell them they pay plus 600K to teach you.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I said that I noticed that when we are registering, or let's say when we are logging in, especially, I noticed that we are saving the token to the local host.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering that maybe is it secure? Because if I'm an hacker, for example, and I notice that the token is being saved to the local host, I can actually bypass the JavaScript code, get the person's token, and use it. I don't know if.
It's actually
So I just wanted to know if it's safe to do that.
you're actually making a valid point. You understand? Saving to local storage could be exposed to hacking and the rest. You understand? But we are actually having this is a minimal project for now. We can also explore other ways of saving our token using things like session and cookies moving forward. But for what we are doing, token is okay for now. But you're making a valid point.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any further questions?
Sir, please can I see your login page? I can't log in.
Okay, my login
Sir,
page.
also, sir,
Yeah.
after logging in, I can't log out.
Okay, you can log out. Then there are some issues with your logout logic or something. So check out the login first, then maybe I will.
I don't know. I'm also having issues
Okay, with what?
logging in.
Logging in. Okay. So let's.
With login, it's telling me status code 500.
That is server. That means you're having a server issue. So once you hear
Says
status,
request failed.
good. Once you hear status code 500, it has to do with the server. If it is 400, it has to do with your front end. So you make sure that your server was working before we started. And the way you can do that is by testing it out in Postman. Make sure you go through all those processes. Okay, so.
Sir, please let me see your login, line 27.
Okay, ma. I'm gonna go down to line 27 and this is login.jsx. I hope that's the login you want to, or is it the logic, the slices?
The login. Okay.
So this is 27. So first of all, if you want to debug your code, you must make sure that you're not having error first. Make sure there is no red line. If there is a red line, then we have to sort out the red lines first. The red squiggly lines for errors, sort them out first before you start running the app. Okay, so if you need any of these code snippets, I can put them in your WhatsApp to help out. Okay.
Sorry, sorry, sir, can I see the flow of your logout? How you did that?
Logouts.
Yes.
That is in the slides. So the logout starts from here, where we have these, where we have this, where we
Okay.
have removal from local storage down to the slice, where we, okay, first of all, before the slice, we made a call to the service. So make sure you have that too. I think some of you might not have this logout. This first logout that we did here, where we call the logout service. So const logout create async thong. This should make sure if you copy this from login, make sure you change this to logout. I think that should also be another situation for our problems. So, and we awaited auth service.logout. Then after that, we now went down to the extra reducers where we use the builder to take care of our stuff here. We added the case of logout fulfilled where we set the user to null. So check that out. Check that out and chat me up on WhatsApp for any further questions so that I can go take care of myself.
So please, one last thing, please.
Okay.
Let me check. Let me see your header.gsx, please.
Header.gsx. Let's go there. Let's go there. So header, like I said, I did some manipulations here
Yes,
where we were doing conditional rendering. So because of that, I put this in your WhatsApp. So if you go check your WhatsApp, you're gonna see this whole code. It's already there. But you want to ask some questions? I'm listening.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm trying to check out that conditional rendering because I can log in, but I can't find my logout this thing on the dashboard. So it's still bringing login and register on the dashboard instead of logout. So
okay. That means there's an issue somewhere here, and you better go use my code. I know you don't want to use my code because you're a senior dev. You want to type it out by yourself and make it work. I love that. That's the way it should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will check the code out.
Yeah, but if the problem persists, then you just have to you just have to drop your shoulders and do the needful.
Okay. So.
They just said you since you drop your shoulder.
Okay. Sarah, I've not been hearing from you since I started this class.
That's because I've not gotten my charger yet.
Jesus, and you didn't tell me.
Yes, I'm just following the class
because I wasn't getting the right vibes when I was not hearing from you. Like the vibes was not the vibes. It's not 100%. So I was like, is it that you didn't join at all or something? So
I've been here throughout the class, but my laptop is down, so I'm just following. But I understood everything you did, so I'll collect the video later when I get my charger to get the codes.
Okay, sorry for your charger.
No problem.
Okay.
Sir,
yeah.
We are not giving you the right vibes.
No. Don't take it. Don't take it personal.
Why are you jealous, Favor?
Favor, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Like I'm getting a whole lot of vibes from the whole of you. You understand? But like, I needed that extra vibe from Sarah as well. You understand? So I was missing that extra vibe. Just that. But all of you are.
So she's the only one that gives extra vibes.
No. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal.
I just
Okay, let me explain it. Let me explain it mathematically. So let's say we have a count of 120, and that 120 is divided equally for all of you, and everybody is getting 5 of the 120. And all of a sudden, I have 115, and I'm not having that extra 5. You understand? So that
you can still move from one because 15 is big enough to move on without looking at whether 5 is disappearing or not.
Okay, I'm voracious when I'm eating my things. I want to eat everything. So when I'm getting my things, I want to get everything. So I don't want to miss some and have some. And when I'm looking at my people, I want to see everybody. You understand? So everything, everybody. Also, leave me alone now. Okay. So don't take it personal. Are we good now?
Yeah, we're good.
Right? Cool stuff. Okay. So see you guys when I see you. Thank you. God bless you. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Favor.
Yeah.
What's my
Favor, what's your issue with me? Favor, we'd fight on Monday. Me and you, don't worry.